Earlier this summer, PSA came out with a $15 special, and I wanted to try something a little different. While I had already sent off a bunch of orders of cards I had prepped, I spent the next couple weeks hunting for cards that were under $10 and seeing what kind of stuff I could find that would be really enjoyable to grade. This led to the reveal you're going to see today. It's a ton of different sports, a ton of different players, but hopefully a lot of cards that you have never seen before. I hope you enjoy the video. All right, this one should be a ton of fun. A little bit of every sport, I think, except for hockey, unfortunately, but I tried to just stay diverse, get some different inserts, older players, Hall of Fame guys, even some modern stars. Main point was to just get cards that I can, again, kind of challenge myself, see what you can find for under $10 to prove to myself that it's fun and you can still do well grading cards that are not overly expensive. So hope you enjoy. This should be a lot of fun. First stack on the left, we have a Kobe Jam Fest to start. This is out of Panini Pinnacle, and this one just looks really awesome, I thought. Again, a lot of these cards, and I don't think I mentioned this yet, but they came from typically, it was like COMC, eBay, card shows, that sort of thing. I like COMC and card shows specifically because you don't have to pay for shipping for every single card. That's the drawback to eBay on cards that are this cheap. So I found COMC to be pretty helpful here. Not sponsored by them, but just I genuinely enjoy the company, and I've always picked up cards from them. I just typically find cool stuff on the site there. Next, we have a 2016 Panini Studio Kobe Bryant PSA 10. This one's a great card here. I've graded this set prior, and I knew and kind of found out that it grades fairly easily. So I found a Kobe on there again that kind of fit my $10 limit. I think this is probably $5 or $6, which is just in general a great price. But yeah, pick this up. Did hit a 10 here, which is an awesome hit there. Next, we get into a little bit of soccer here. I think, well, actually just one soccer card here to start. So Ronaldinho, 2006 Topps Match Attacks World Cup. Now, what's interesting is you see 2006 World Cup, sometimes the base cards do pretty well. I think a Ronaldinho 8 is probably, I would assume, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but probably close to $100. But this is the Match Attacks that I just happened to find online. I was just searching different players, and I think this is the only copy ever graded. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it looks like some sort of trading card game for the World Cup. Not one I had ever seen before. Hopefully you've never seen it as well. So this was a sweet one to get in a PSA slab. You notice on my hand, I was playing with my dog. I threw a Frisbee, and as I threw it, he jumped and sunk his teeth right in my hand. So that's what these are right here. Still recovering, but puppy is all right. I didn't take any teeth out of him when I did that by accident. Next, I have a Shohei Ohtani Sepia Refractor. Really nice one, clearly injured, which might be why this was under $10 on COMC. But, for $10, hit a 10. I just think this is a really nice one that send off for the $15 grading. It just fit the threshold of a great player, a card that's going to be desirable, that sort of thing. So Joe Burrow, Hollow. This is out of Panini Father's Day. I do like kind of these niche sets just because there's, not super common. You don't see them too often. This is numbered out of 199. Obviously, LSU jersey is not terrible. I like kind of when the player actually had a good career for that team. So Joe Burrow, obviously you have fond memories as LSU fans, that sort of thing. So pretty neat card there. So Randy Moss, just out of 2002 Finest Base. This was kind of an experiment. I really did not know if you can buy these base Topps Finest cards off of, again, online and actually gem them, but I did pretty well. I think I graded 5 or 6 and got 3 or 4 10s. This is one of them, one of my favorites. So I, again, had to sneak this in here, so really sweet. And just so you're all aware, too, this order was very large. I think it was 300 or 400 cards. I picked right here what I did. I sorted by players, grabbed this top of the stack, and threw in a couple random cool ones, that I want to share. But in general, this order was about 45 to 50% gem rate. So really strong gem rate. I felt like this, again, the cards I have here are a pretty good representation of what was totally in the order. Again, it was, if you see a couple Randy Moss, just assume I had probably 8 in there, right? And I just grabbed, again, whatever was on the top of the stack to share you here today. 2015 Prism Kobe Bryant Fireworks PSA 10, a really nice one here. And the reason I don't show all 400 or 500 cards, it just takes a ton of time. And I also, with grading this many, I need to get them on eBay for the ones that I will not be keeping because, again, grading fees are expensive. And I like to, as you know, as I mentioned in the channel, love grading orders like this and then keeping the cards for my collection that fit. Then the rest will go up in the eBay store so you can start paying off the grading fees. That's typically what I try to do here. 2012 Panini Innovation Kobe Bryant. This one was awesome because I believe this is a set that introduced a lot of the really neat inserts that you still see today, like stained glass, that sort of thing. That was out of this set. So this is the base card, but what's ironic is it's heavily short printed clearly because this is only a pop, I think 5 or 6. So really nice to hit a gem here. Again, I was surprised I could find a card like that for under $10. I just, for some reason, just assumed it would be much more. But again, one that was probably right about that $10 price point. Found it, came in nice shape, and was able to gem it. So really good one there. Let's see another soccer card. This one was really cool when I spotted it. Again, I have not been a soccer fan my entire life. I'm very new, probably last 2, 3, 4 years, so I've had to learn the history. But I do know, obviously, from watching highlights, that sort of thing, that Barcelona in the 2000s was a big deal. This is 2003, the team sticker. I think it's a sticker, but team card here. And this is obviously before Messi was on the team, I believe. But you have a lot of, Hall of Fame. I guess it's not probably called Hall of Fame, but, mainstream guys that are extremely well remembered and popular. You have Ronaldinho up there, just for example. And I like this one because it names all the players on the back, so it's really sweet. Again, if I don't recognize some of these, but then I see the names, it's like, oh, yeah, I remember who, let's say Xavi is, or Puyol. I remember all these guys now. Again, it's really awesome. Just really neat card. And interesting to get the 9 miscut there. I'm not sure, obviously, it must be like miscut at the factory or something, but a 9 miscut, I would have to imagine, is a pretty strong grade on that one. Next, you have a Nikola Jokic, My House Hollow, a PSA 9. I wanted to get, like I said, it's not all retired people. I wanted some people who are actively playing and are pretty safe, I would say, at this point with their legacy. Jokic is a multi-time MVP and obviously a champion at this point. So I picked up these, and you'll notice I grabbed like the fast break instead of the base card. I just felt like, again, these would be more unique, more short printed. You don't see as many of them, that sort of thing. Jacoby Flight Team, I think this was from a card show. This is a PSA 9. A strong grade for this set, just very tough to grade in general. And a really nice looking insert here. Again, flying through the air, dunking. You may have seen this one on the channel before. I've graded this one a few times, and I've never gemmed one, of course, but maybe one day we'll get there. Next, we have probably the most ridiculously stupid card in this entire order. Again, it's funny. Like I said, I sent a ton of cards, and I happened, like baseball, I just grabbed the top 8 off the stack. And of course, this was in there, so I get to embarrass myself to you guys. This was, I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, I was grabbing Father's Day, rookie, really good player. That's awesome. And then by the time this was off and came back, obviously, I'm sure you're all aware this guy is now out of the league and likely never going to play again. So this is probably a 10-cent card that will be going to St. Vincent de Paul and dropped off in a next donation or something. But
sorry, but
Please don't cry like that. Please don't, Brennan. I told you that they would feel completely to blame.
Kind of funny there, to be honest. You got to make fun of yourself a little. That was just a horrible luck there. So Jokic, get another fireworks fast break. Like I said, I just tried to stick the Panini inserts, at least from the last, at least more than a few years ago. I didn't grade anything that was in the last year. Just with how much they're printing, I don't trust it. I'd rather grade something from 2018 that you, again, just don't see. Especially back then, Jokic wasn't as big of a player, so nobody was grading this kind of stuff. So I have a Pele. This is out of Pro Set Metal. I've graded this out a little bit. I'm actually quite a fan of it. It's numbered out of 75 on this one. Every card is numbered. They aren't super expensive, and they seem desired. I sell and ship a lot of them overseas, which is kind of neat. There's a ton of different parallels. Again, not sure what more to say about this one. It's not like the flashiest looking card. It's obviously not even branded, I don't think, but it's just cool to be able to find cards of these guys that are serial numbered. You just don't have a lot of Pele cards that are serial numbered. Obviously made in 2021, so it's not that old, but kind of a neat card there. So Jokic Battlements, again, stick with the inserts here of a great player. And I think there's actually a second-year card, which is kind of neat. Again, find it for, I don't know what this was, like $4 or $5. It's just getting creative and hunting down cards for players that I think I want to try out. That's kind of, what this is. And it's all a learning game, of course, too. So the Ronaldo, this is not the Ronaldo that you see today. This is the Brazilian Ronaldo. And this out of Mundi Chromo. So I grabbed a few cards in this set that were, again, hovered right around that $10 mark. A lot of these were like $8, $9, $10. And 8s on these are really strong grades. I did pretty well on the Mundi Chromo cards in general for, I think we graded some for Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, maybe even some David Beckham, just your huge name guys. And like I said, this one, just really nice looking card. Strong grade on an 8 there. Next, we do have one more Messi here. So this is out of that Pro Set like I just talked about. PSA 9, I got an 8 on the Pele, so really not strong turnout on these ones here. But in general, usually I've graded and done very well on these. But this is, again, numbered out of 35. Pretty nice looking card with the Barcelona kit. and the red mojo there. So you have a David Beckham, and what's funny again about this player, I just happened to grade him, just a big name, and I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool to learn more about his cards, try grading a few, that sort of thing. And since I sent this off, there's now a documentary that came out on Netflix, and I'm never one to be like, oh, documentary is going to make a player's cards go up in value. I don't really think that way, but it's crazy because, again, I got this order back. I listed a few of the Beckhams, and they sold freaking just like that. I think I have one in here that I just sold that I have to ship off that I'll show you in a second. But it's kind of funny, again, how, with the Wander Franco, it works out against you. And then here it works out for you, where people are kind of reminded of the greatness and go back and try to, again, pick up some of his cards. And I didn't comment on the card, but very neat, out of 1998 Merlin, England. Just a nice looking card and very, very great grade there on that one. Jokic Silver Mojo out of Flux. These are really not bad looking cards. I think this set's pretty sweet looking. I just grabbed a few, again, just to try it out. I've never graded it a ton, just to see how they do. PSA 9 on this one, but one, again, where I got to imagine the pop is like 2 or 3. I mean, it's just not something where for buying for $5, grading for $15, you're just in a really nice spot where, if someone's looking for a card like this, you can give them a good deal, and, you're all happy. You're both happy. If someone's getting a cool card and, you're not breaking the bank grading it, and they're not breaking the bank buying it, too. That's a big thing here. So Fractal out of Revolution, again, quite a bit of Jokic here. Kind of a neat one here. Again, I maybe just mentioned not buying stuff the modern cards, but this one happens to be a little more recent. This is a Jason Tatum out of Chronicles Draft Picks. Like I mentioned about the Joe Burrow, some of these players where they actually played for really popular teams that have a ton of fans, I actually don't mind some of these. Like, this is just a really sweet looking card. PSA 10, numbered out 99. Again, you probably buy for, I don't know, $7 or $8. I can't imagine this isn't a $70 or $80 card in a 10, right? You took the risk buying and grading it. So now, again, when you get the 10, it's a nice turnout here. So this is a nice looking card. And again, Duke fans are very popular. Celtics fans, very, very common. So that's just, a good looking card. It'll be interesting to see how desired it is. Exhibit Kobe Bryant production line rack pack. This is out of 2010 Donruss. Really interesting card. It's kind of a cracked ice design that you really don't see too much until you start getting more of the contenders a little later on. So this one is a sweet gem here. And like I mentioned with all this, it's just really, really sweet looking cards that stopped me in my tracks when I was looking on ComC or eBay. And again, you just find those ones that I've never seen it before. So it's like, oh, it's like $8. Why not try buying it and grading it for $15 if it's in nice shape, that sort of thing. And speaking of being in nice shape, well, first of all, cool. Finest, again, did well on this Moss. But if I get cards, like I should mention this, I get questions about this a lot. If you buy cards and then they turn out to not be in good shape, commonly what I do is I set up at card shows. At the end of the day, I mostly collect football, so a lot of this stuff is brought to shows or put on my eBay. And then if I get a card that isn't gradable, typically I'll disclaimer that, right? Or I'll put it on ComC as well, and they do a good job of anything that's really bad, they'll flag it, that sort of thing. So that's typically where I send those cards off to, because I don't like selling them on eBay a ton, because I just never feel good about selling cards that aren't in great shape. Even if you mark it on the listing, it seems like still people get upset sometimes. So I try not to deal with eBay too much for raw cards that, end up not being in great shape. David Beckham Hollow, again, nice one, good timing, cool set. I think I, again, just showed you, I think it was a Burrow from this set, so this is a David Beckham as well. Next, we have a Ronaldinho, this out of Mundi Chroma, like I mentioned. Unfortunately, a PSA 6 on this one, but I mean, with this one, every card I was seeing was very off-centered, so this really isn't too bad here for this one. Again, I could imagine getting like a 4 or 3 on some of these with how off-centered this is and stuff like that. So 6, not too shabby, just really, really awesome looking card. I kind of like how you can see him in 2 different spots there. So the Jokic Groove out of Revolution. Again, these Revolution parallels, I just felt like were pretty unique and they were affordable, so I picked some up. Next, we have Messi out of Father's Day. I think the hollow for him was too expensive. I could not find one that fit the $10 threshold, so this is one that I had to pick up. Just the base card there, but great player nonetheless. So we Kobe out of 2016 Hoops. I mentioned this set a few times. I think you've probably seen them in my reveals. I like it. It's just affordable, grades very well, and it's really interesting and unique. I found people who go after the whole set, so they go after all these in like a PSA 10. Not sure if there's a set registry for it or what, but these came from, I believe, buying the NBA 2K17 game. You got a pack, that's my understanding, and it included some of these cards, and maybe it's only some of them in the set that were like that, and the rest were inserted into Hoops normally. Not 100% certain, but this is a pretty sweet one there. Next, we have a Ronaldinho Argentina sticker out of 2011 Copa America. Again, just extremely low pop, very high grade. I was actually pretty thrilled with the grades, like I mentioned on a lot of the soccer stuff, because I don't grade soccer a ton, but I do like doing it just to see what's out there, and then you kind of learn and see where's the market for these things. What grades well, what doesn't. Learn more about the players. I just enjoy grading. Obviously, you've seen the channel, you're well aware of that. So the Ken Griffey Hollow, again, out of that Father's Day set. Apparently, I don't even know how all three of these ended up in here, because I think these are the only three from this set that I graded in the order. But again, just nonetheless, amazing player and serial numbered, not playing years, whatever. But again, you're not going to find something serial numbered that low that was playing years for less than $10. That was part of the requirement for this order, of course. So if a Steph Curry Run the Gauntlet, again, kind of older Panini insert, not super well, like well graded. There's not a ton of these out there. So just a nice looking, probably a fairly tough gem here on a card that is obviously for a great player. So that works out well there. So another cool one, and this is a similar set to that Kobe I just talked about, but this was in 2017 Hoops. This was a throwback type of like a tribute set for Kobe. I like this one because the last one in the set, number 300, I believe this is his last game at the Staples Center. So just really, really awesome card. Again, for under $10. I don't know, it's just, I'd rather be buying and grading and, nonetheless, having cards like this than, let's say, the modern stuff where, they're probably being printed at 30, 40,000, 50,000 copies a card. Back in 2017, it's obviously significantly less. And as you go even further back, like to 2016, it just continually gets less printed. So that's why I kind of like, stuff that's at least a few years old, if not 10 to 20 years old. It's just much more enjoyable for me to look through and, again, collect nonetheless. Like I said, for football, that's mostly what I collect anyway, is the mid-2000s to mid-2010s. So with Jason Tatum Blue Wave Prism, this one is serial number out 249. Cool jersey match color, like I forgot to mention on the Mosaic, but this one did get an 8. Unfortunately, the Prism, I've never been doing well on these modern sets. I don't know why. It just seems like a waste of time to grade at this point. So winner stays Kobe. Base card here, but I thought very cool looking insert. So to pick up for a few dollars, it just felt like it made sense. And these ones, I don't know if they grade well. I don't think so because of how black the back is. But awesome looking Kobe card regardless. So this one's pretty sweet. And I wonder, it just comes to mind, I wonder if there's golds in this set. There's probably is. I think a gold prism of this would just be awesome. That looks so cool. Because I know they had a bunch of parallels that year, but yeah, I'm not sure about the gold. I'm sure there's got to be one. So an Optic Jokic Red Pulsar. Again, just a nice looking parallel that fits a great player. So it worked out to grade that one here. And then I set aside, there was a few I want to talk through that actually go together. So this was a set that I've always kind of liked from afar. When I first got into the hobby, this was a set that I really liked, and then I kind of disregarded it as I moved over to football because it's not in football, and collecting that mostly. But this was pretty sweet. So this is the Jokic 2017 Court Kings PSA 10. This is a pop 1. So this was obviously a set that was not, super printed. There's not a ton of copies out there. So I hit a gem on this one, and just looking at it, it's got to be a very tough gem, with corners and edge issues galore, I would imagine. And then so I had that one sent off in 2018 as well. I kind of did one for every year. I got a 9 there, and then I got a 10 on the 2019. I know this one's a very easy grade compared to like this one, but I think this one looks much better, but still a cool card. And then I did grade a 2020, and I got a PSA 10 on that one. So pretty sweet here. Nice to have a nice little run here. And what I like about this too, like, with this, the way I grade these kind of orders, and I already hinted at a little bit here, but when I grade a bunch of these and, I do put them online to kind of fund the order, fund my collection, it's nice to have runs because sometimes somebody might be looking for the 2017 and a 10 and the 2019 and the 2020, that sort of thing. So I found people who, might pick up 3 or 4 Jokic cards at once. So, as you maybe are starting to, let's say, grow an eBay store or that sort of thing, something to keep in mind. I've had a lot of luck with that, so maybe you will as well. Who knows? Next, you have Ronaldo out of Futera. I think that's how you say it. I've never actually been properly explained how to say this, but cool card for, again, a great player in the Brazil kit. So just nice looking one there. So I have another Jokic. It's just a base revolution that I got a 7 on. So yeah, this one was in here too. So it's kind of goes to show you can't win them all. You will get bad grades, especially on a card like this. This is probably a couple dollar card, and a 7 is probably worth a couple dollars. So unfortunately, that was a miss there. So Justin Herbert, again, one of the few football cards I have here. A red out of 99. Again, for under $10 of a guy who's very, very popular, I can buy a card like this, sell a card like this, and go buy, like a Calvin Johnson, Adrian Peterson, the kind of guys that I really enjoy collecting personally a lot more. And it seems like, again, the hobby loves guys like this, but I'd rather go back and collect the other stuff. But cool one to get a 9 on there. So Fractal for Jason Tatum. This one, again, I think was like pop 3 or 2 for, like I said, on ComC or eBay or something. It was probably like $4 or $5. But really awesome design. I really like this one, like especially just from afar. It just looks really sweet. So I'm sure a Celtics fan would love a card like that. So it just was a nice one to send off for $15. So you have another one for Tatum. This is an 8, the green prism color match. It's funny, I sent a couple of these off without even looking, and then I looked online. I'm like, oh wait, a lot of these have been graded, which maybe makes sense because of 2019. It's the green match. This is before PSA shut down. And then the PSA 10, there's one listed for like $30. I'm like, oh, that was, a complete waste. Why spend $15? Why did I do that? And then nonetheless, they all came back 8s anyway. So it's like, yeah, just a complete boneheaded one again there. Like I said, with a few of these, just how it goes sometimes. So we have a Kobe Bryant 2011 VIP for the 32nd National. Just awesome, really awesome card for, again, a National VIP pack, I'm sure, that I've never seen before. So I just grabbed, I think, 2 of these. They both got 9s. Not like the craziest looking card, but again, the context of where it came from is pretty interesting and unique to me, and not a card you see every day. Then up next, we have a David Beckham on an Upper Deck MLS. Ironically, I graded 3 of these. I got 2 10s. This is the first year his MLS cards are out. And the other 2 10s sold like immediately. And I was like, oh, awesome. And like 2 days later, this 9 just sold. So I got to ship this one out. So it's kind of my hint to, hey, I think this was in your stack for the video. Go make the video. So that's what I'm doing here today. But I hope you guys all enjoyed. Again, I want to make this as a way to show that, again, you don't need to break the bank to find cool cards. If you enjoy grading, grade it. It's fun. You can get 10s. You can do well. Like I said, overall order is about 45%. So this is pretty similar to that. So I hope you enjoyed. Saw some cards you've never seen before. And I'll see you next week.